listening to the illustration.
BMH
Love comes easy with Brandon Praise. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock, the name is Unalina Barata Peteke. On Twitter at Una_Peteke. And of course, we are at BMH Radio on all social media platforms. We're live www.bmhradio.co.za. In studio today, I've got director, writer, filmmaker, actor. What else am I missing out? Author, Mr. Eric Miyeni in studio. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, and I'm the director of Rapid Land, the South African International Film Festival. That's what I do now.
Yes, sir. Please welcome. Thank you so much for making time.
Thanks for having us. Having me.
Whenever someone mentions Eric Miyeni, my first thought is actor. First thought is Molofish, And I want to know from you, what made you gravitate towards the film industry?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Well, I grew up under apartheid, and I'm not a big crowd guy. I'm not big on joining big crowds of people to do stuff. I'm pretty much of a loner.
Wow.
And so at the time, I sort of wrote a one-man piece, stand-up routine, satirical comedy, we called it back then. And I read it to a friend. He said, wow, that's amazing. And then I read it to 3 friends. Then they said, that's crazy, dude. Like, that's good. And then I did the whole thing. I wrote the whole thing. It was called Twisted and Vile. And when I had finished doing it, I thought, can I find somebody to perform it somewhere? And I didn't. So I just felt like I should, because I sort of wrote it. So I did that piece, and then it went to Grahamstown Arts Festival. Went to Namibia, then it toured Holland, and before I knew it, I had an agent. Then I was on television, and then everybody, wow, now I'm in the movie business. What the hell? Horror story. Anyway, so that's how I gravitated towards. I did a piece which was satirical, satirizing apartheid, if you like, showing the ridiculous aspect of this stupid system. There was no comedy circuit back then. But yeah, I toured Holland with a stand-up routine back in the day. That led to this whole being in the movies thing that I didn't plan at all. And it upset a lot of people who all they wanted was to be actors, be in the movies. They had worked hard for years, and in comes this upstart, make it landscape. In comes this upstart who's just comes in, next thing is on the cover of this magazine. How did that happen? But yeah, so that's the story behind that part.
Okay.
Not my favorite time in the world ever. But
Okay, so.
Yeah.
And then also now straight to Rapid Land South African International Film Festival. For those that do not know what it is, please educate us on that more.
Yeah, it's a film festival. And at film festivals, you show films, right?
Yes.
You have workshops for filmmakers and film practitioners. So Rapid Lounge will be 5 years old this year, which is quite cool, I think. It's our 4th edition. And we literally started this thing after realizing, if you like, that one of the key aspects of the movie business is box office success.
Yes.
And box office success comes through proper marketing. So when you hear, hey, the Oscars are coming, in February there'll be the Oscars. Yes. All of those films that are nominated or they get re-released, they get shown again. And when they win, everybody wants to see them again. It's a business. When you hear that Cannes is there, and you hear this movie's going to open Cannes,
definitely.
You want to know what movie this is.
Yes.
They say it won the Palme d'Or. You want to know what this movie is. It's a business. People dress up. They go on the red carpet. You see the stars,
Yes,
Golden Globe Awards, all of this stuff. It's all geared towards marketing the film product to the world. So we figured in South Africa, there didn't seem to be a festival with an award ceremony that's dedicated somehow to pushing South African film to South Africans first and foremost, right? So Rapid Line is like that. We have the biggest red carpet in the country.
Oh, yes.
And what we mean by that is minimum size is 15 meters by 35 meters. So it's a room carpet. If you look at Cannes, they'll take probably the whole front part of City Hall and red carpet. They got the budgets, we don't. But we still have the bigger, the biggest one here in the country. We have, one of the, I think one of the most beautiful awards. It's actually produced by the same company, R.S. Owens and Company, which produces the Oscar and the Grammy Award. They make our award, which is called the Rapid Line. So Rapid Line is a film festival. What's exciting about it is that, yes, while we're open, it's from the 1st to the 10th of March this year. It always happens around March, around my birthday, which is kind of cool. It becomes my birthday present to myself, if you like. Or it becomes my birthday nightmare, depending on how we're doing that year. So far, we've done okay. But, so this year we're open on the 1st. I think you'll crack an invitation to that. Try and make sure you come.
Thank you, sir.
It's good fun, And then we have some master classes by Jan Hallen. So we'll talk about that if you want to know more about that.
Definitely.
We teamed up, with the NVF to do some workshops on Women's Day because there's the 8th of March is International Women's Day. So we have a whole program around that. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff. But essentially, we're a film festival with an award ceremony that is completely locked in on film. There's no television there. We do film. We are about promoting South African film.
Speaking of women being celebrated also at the festival, do you think the film industry is gender based?
Well, it depends, I guess, how you look at the question. It's not gender-based in the sense that we need women as much as we need men in it. So women get hired as actresses, men get hired as actresses. So it's not gender-based in that sense. You need both sexes in the film business. I mean, how are you gonna have a family in a sitcom, in a movie, if there's no father and mother? How are you gonna have a romantic comedy without a man and a woman? How are you gonna, you know what I mean? So it needs both genders. On the other hand, behind the scenes, meaning in the business side of the film business, you might be right. I think probably you are right if you say we have problems there. That women are not treated as well as they should. That men are, I don't know, genital led sometimes, and they do terrible things. And this needs to change. That's why Rapid Line 2019, on the 8th, for instance, we are doing a workshop together with sisters, Swift. I don't know if it stands for Sisters Working in Television and Film.
Yes.
And we're doing a workshop called, how film content perpetuates gender violence and what we should do to change that.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Because it's another idea to say, you might be saying, okay, it's what they do when you're on set, it's what they do. But sometimes you're sitting in a movie and you think, oh, I mean, that scene is a bit hectic, or it's pushing the wrong idea, or there's a hero who's a sexist. How can we start to alter those things and do them better? So there are problems, and these problems are, in a sense, not so much film specific.
Yeah.
It's the business world, right? The business world is full of men, and men do stuff there, and they don't know how to handle women when they come in, and half the time they're insulting them.
Definitely.
Doing all sorts of rubbish to them. And we need to change that somewhat. My view, of course, is that, unfortunately, whoever builds the house decides who comes in. And whoever builds the house decides how the guest gets treated. And if they don't lose anything for spitting in your face at their big house, well, they'll spit in your face to say they're important. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
In a way, women need to start building houses as opposed to trying very hard to get men to accommodate them in their houses.
Yes.
It's not easy to build a production company. It's not easy to build a business. It's not easy to set up a radio station where we're sitting now. And so if we say, hey, these men are not treating us right, maybe it's time to say, okay, how do we set up stuff where we can treat each other right, where we can decide who comes, who doesn't come. Okay. When we started Rapid Lion, it started because my film was rejected by another film festival, if you like.
Wow.
A local one. And I thought, hang on, there's only 5 or so movies made this year.
Yes.
How can you reject the 5th one? It's not the worst film we did. Audience test, it got average 8 out of 10 people who watched it. And this festival rejected it. So I thought, I could go on Twitter and say, these people are sexist. These people are racist.
Yes.
These people, they don't know what quality is. Who's this? Criticizing is easy. What I thought was, hang on, that means there is no film festival that caters for local films.
Yes.
So we built Rapid Lion. Not an easy job. Just to get this thing to get on the ground took 3 years of working with no pay, nothing, just trying to get people to believe in it. Mm-hmm. And now we can say we're on our 5th year. It's still a struggle. So I, to this day, respect those people who rejected my film, because I realized that for them to get to a position where they can say no, Eric, was a hell of a lot of work. And Rapid Lion now can say to certain works, sorry, we can't take you. Yes, we can take you. So I think to change the world, you need to do the hard work of building. And yes. I think if we start to think like that, as black people in a hostile white economic environment, as females in a hostile male environment, as black males in a hostile white male environment, wherever you're sitting, whoever you are, if you look back, you'll find that the people who really made a change are the people who decided to build and stop criticizing.
9:30, still tuned into the Morning Drift. I am Onalina Bara Tapeteke on Twitter at Ona_Peteke, and we are at BMH Radio on all social media platforms. And yeah, we're live www.bmhradio.co.za. If you just tuned in, we hang out with festival director Eric Miyeni, who's also an author and an actor. So I want to know from you, sir, do we have enough students as storytellers?
I have to say I have no idea around that.
Okay.
It would be tough. I mean, how many students are making films? I'd imagine very few. But how many of them are going to be great? I can't tell now.
That is true.
But yeah, we have a lot of amazing film schools around. And I don't think there could be a better time to be getting in the film business in South Africa than today, because President Zuma's administration put the creative arts in the economic cluster.
Yes.
What that means is the government began to consider or think of the creative industries the way you think about mining, the way you think about banking, the way you think about manufacturing, that it's a business that can employ people, and once they put in the economic cluster, it means there'll be investments in it. That's why, the year that my film was rejected, there were 5 South African films made. I think over the last 5 years, there've been over 200 films made. So, so it's a business that's jumping forward. What we are trying to help with is to get exhibition going outside of Ster-Kineka and New Metro, which, by the way, are very good companies doing incredibly good work. I mean, they employ a hell of a lot of people in the country. They've been running quite smoothly for many, many years. But there would be nothing wrong with an LK Theatres, for instance, that Hlomla Dandala, you might know, and Dumango, his partner, are trying to put together. There's nothing wrong with what Tapelo Mukwena, with his Kasi movie nights, are doing, expanding the exhibition space so that local films can have more traction in the market. So we're hoping That's going to be great. So, for instance, we are teaming up with Brand SA to bring a workshop called Taking Local Cinema to South Africa's Masses.
Yes.
And so we, LK Theatres and Kasi Movie Nights will be presenting papers there. So if you're a filmmaker or you are interested in film, you want to see the future of exhibition in South Africa, I think it's a good one to come and attend at Rapid Land 2019. It's a workshop on that. So yeah, storytelling, I would imagine, yes, there are many good storytellers in the making.
Yes.
I'm very, very excited by the younger directors coming up now. XT Kubega is incredible. He did Sue the Winter to My Skin, which we chose as our representative for the best foreign language Oscar. Darren Joshua, who gave us Nume Skoli, and Ellen recently, the story of the lady who killed her Nyaupe smoking son. I mean, I look at their work and it's very exciting. So these are filmmakers that are doing movies in a cinematic way. What's exciting for me about it as well is that unlike my generation of filmmakers, if you like, in this country, they are outward looking. They are humble servants of the cinema world. They are not, hey, I've arrived, I know what I'm doing, who's going to give me money now to make a movie, whatever.
Yes.
They are like, I'm learning. I'm watching Hitchcock. I'm watching the French greats. I want to be a great cineasta, and their films show that.
Yes.
And that's amazing. I think that's very exciting. So, yeah, short answer. I think younger filmmakers are coming up who are doing great work. Yeah.
There's a question that I posed out earlier on in the first hour of the show, and I want to know from you, I'm going to ask you to, has the popularity of the internet, would you say, has affected, the cinemas or going to the movies? Would you say that?
You'd have to ask yourself, has Ted Kineko stopped making money since these... People asked that question when television came, right? They said, will radio die? You know what I mean? People asked the same question when videos came, right? They said, will cinema die? People asked the same questions when, the internet came and they said, will television die? The truth of the matter is these are all very different experiences. You can never experience a cinematic feel on a laptop.
That
Believe
is
me,
true.
you'll never experience a laptop experience at a cinema. They are very, very different.
True.
Television is normally used as a background in a family, right? People will be talking about the TV's on. Laptop is it's almost, that's a communal experience, right? It's the whole family watching Generations or whatever it is. A laptop is very insular. It's you in your bed alone deciding to catch whatever, right? So very different. Radio, very different. So no, I don't think any of these things are gonna die. I think every time there's a new technology, people panic. But things stay because they're different. They're just not the same. I love the big screen. I could never have enjoyed Black Panther any better way than on the big screen. I don't care how many laptops you have. It's just you have to go onto the big screen and watch that thing proper if you want an experience of that. It's cinematic, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So my view is it isn't. And so otherwise we wouldn't be at Rapid Land where we're pushing cinema and film. It's because we believe in the future of cinema. Yeah, absolutely.
What's your take also on Hollywood stars that play leads in our African stories?
Yeah. You see, one of the things that we have that is a sickness, in my view, is that we like chopping tall poppies, We don't like people to shine, Una must just stay humble. She mustn't say how good she is. She mustn't tell us how many people listen or what great guests she has. Who is she? We'll say it, you know what I mean? So we don't want stars.
Spoke to me, yeah.
Stay short, stay little. And the problem with that is that you can't build a movie business without stars. You just can't. It doesn't work like that. The producer is not a star. People don't go to a movie to watch a producer. People don't go to a movie to watch a director. People go to a movie to watch the actor do his work. Now, we understand that there's a lot happening behind the scenes, and I believe Africa should have more and more producers and less, more and more producers where the hard work is.
Yes.
but the star sells the tickets. And the star should be paid like a star. Now, Hollywood they'll say, okay, we're going to put $20 million in this thing.
Yeah.
But in order for us to get our $20 million back, as an example, we can't put Eric Miyeni as a lead. Yeah? Where we're going to release this film, in America, people don't know who Eric is. They don't know why they should come and go. It's that much harder to sell it. So if we put money in, we want Denzel Washington to act. Are you happy? Are you not? If you don't like it, well, go find your money elsewhere. He who pays the piper calls the tune. Wow. So we don't fund our own films, and we expect our people to be stars in our films. That's crazy. On the other hand, I believe Long Walk to Freedom, which South African money, over 50 million went into, should have had a local star.
Yes.
Because Idris Elba, I love him. I think he's a wonderful guy. He didn't do a good job at all, number one, at least not from a South African perspective. And number two, we paid for it. So if we pay, we should push our own stars.
That is
and
true.
Because it's Mandela, because it's a great book, we could have taken the risk of a great Mandela actor that now goes out into the world because we paid for it. So
Yes.
my problem is when we pay for the film and we put other people, but when they pay for the film, they can put whoever they want. So it is what it is. America comes and says we'll fund it. They'll put an American in it, and it makes sense from a business perspective because they're not going to release it and try and make money in Soweto. They're not. They're going to try and release it and make big box office on the weekend in America. That's who invested. So that's how it is. You invest in your own stuff. You decide who works in it. You don't invest. Other people decide.
Do you share the same sentiments with regards to people that make it onto our screens just because of a number of following they have on social media? Not because they're talented, but because you are, I don't know, let's say Eric Miyeni, who's probably maybe a radio presenter instead of an actor, but they said, you know what, let's take Eric and make him a lead on a certain movie just because of popularity.
From a business perspective, it makes complete sense. From an artistic perspective, at least take them to acting school. At least make sure they can deliver a line.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's what people will look for when they watch the film. But I would have Kanyim in my film any day. Because I think she's a star. Wow. She's a true star. She says something, everybody sort of listens. She does something, everybody wants to see her. So if I had the perfect role in a movie for her and she can act, I'd put her on there, no question about it. I think Pearls Tusi is a star. I think she's incredible. Wow. And a good actress too. I think Vuyo Dabula is an amazing star.
Yes,
I think he's
definitely
incredible. And these guys, I've been thinking now, I said, I would like to put Pearl Tusi and Vuyo Dabula in one movie and pay them R1 million each and then see if we're not going to make that money back. I just don't see why we couldn't. And make everybody say, this is R1 million star.
Yes. And
push it like that. And if you look at the movie business, at the music business, that's where the kids have got it right. They because number one, you're as good as your last album. You know what I mean? If you don't deliver that album, and you're not buying that car, so whereas in the film business at the moment, a lot of filmmakers, it doesn't matter if they make 1 cent, they'll still get money for the next film because they are so-and-so. Eric Miyeni, they go to IDC, I've got an idea for a movie. No one asks, hey, we gave you 5 million rand last year. What did you make out of that 5 million rand?
Yeah.
Did you bring back $1 million?
Sure.
Did you bring back 6 million? And how much of what you brought back are you reinvesting in your next movie? No. People get the 5 million, they eat half of it, and they make a movie with half of it, if that. Make nothing at the box office, nowhere in the world. Maybe go to 1 or 2 festivals and come back and sit down. And then they come back again for more money. After 10 years, you've given them over 50 million rand. They've never made a cent. Now, it doesn't happen in the movie business. Your album flops, you're not eating.
Yep.
That's it. It's your album does well. You have to get up there, do the live shows. You have to dress up, look good. You have people. you're becoming a star because the stardom that you put around your product is what's going to make more people want to buy your product. And if they buy your product, guess what? You make money. And if you make money, you get the next movie, the next album.
Yes.
We don't have that in the film business. We're trying to bring that in. Rapid Line is trying to say, let's treat the movie business as a business that needs marketing, that needs stars. Don't fire an entire crew because they want a bit more money. I find that idiotic, and it's exactly what's making this industry not go anywhere. The sharp end of the film business are the stars in the film business. And there's nowhere in the world where they've built any significant film business without that. America, Hollywood, India, Bollywood, Nigeria, Nollywood. Every single movie business that's considered big and great has stars who get paid right and get treated right. South Africa, no. And we think we're going to get somewhere. So, no, we don't buy that. Terry Petro is a star.
Oh, yes.
Look at her that way, treat her that way. She gets on the red carpet. People don't know what to do with themselves. And she's awesome. So why would you want to come and say, my rate call is 750?
Imagine.
And if you don't like it, Terry Petro, you can go. You go to Terry and say, you know what? We've scraped enough to do 10 times the call rate. We know it doesn't come, but cover what. But this is what we understand, that you bring some value to this.
Oh, yes.
You are talented and you are a star. You can't train stars. You can train talent. You can train people to have a skill. I can act, but that X factor that says it doesn't matter what this person does, people just want to come to that. You have to pay for that.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Also, what I would actually also like to know from you is, please take us through the Jan Harlan as masterclass.
Yeah.
When are those taking place?
Jan Harlan, let me just give you some background on this guy because he's incredible. I mean, Jan Harlan was the producer for the late Stanley Kubrick. Oh. Stanley Kubrick, some people consider him the greatest movie maker that ever lived. And a large part of it has got to do with the fact that it didn't matter what genre he chose to make a movie in, it became one of the top 10 movies ever made in that genre. Full Metal Jacket, considered by many as the best war movie ever made. And it's probably the cheapest war movie ever made. So it's like a very small number of actors, but they represent a war zone, and it's brilliant. He's made a movie called The Shining with Jack Nicholson. It's considered one of the best horror movies ever made. It's a horror movie, yeah. He's made Eyes Wide Shut was his latest film before he died. Some people are saying now it's growing on people to becoming a classic love story, if you like. An incredible filmmaker. Now, Jan Harlan is his brother-in-law and his producer. 82 years old this year. So you don't have that many chances to see this guy. The first time ever in South Africa. It's not like he's coming back in a week. If you attend this class or these classes, you'll be one in no less than 3 billion in the world to have watched this live. We've brought it here. He's doing 3 master classes. One is called The Shot, the Calling Card.
Okay.
If you are a film student anywhere in South Africa and you can come to this, try and do it. Because he will teach you how you make a short film so that you get work in the feature film business.
Yes.
And not just the director. Yeah. How do you make the makeup shine? How do you make the scripting shine? How do you make the directing shine?
Yeah.
How do you show your talent as a producer in this thing? How do you then take this film out and they say, whoa, who did the sound on that? Who did the makeup on that? You do your short film as a calling card. So every student, film student, should find a way to come here. We even have student prices. They're much lower than everybody else. You can buy all 3 lectures or you can choose one, whatever you can afford.
Yes.
But if you are in any way studying film, you know what? 135, if I'm not mistaken, is what the lecture costs. Really, just save 10 rand a day until the 2nd of March and come and watch this. His next one is called, which is very relevant for South Africa, it's all in the scripting. How to make a great movie on a low budget.
Wow.
Now, this is a guy who did Full Metal Jacket, okay? A war movie on a low budget. Now, you must understand, it's almost impossible to think of a war movie on a low budget.
Exactly.
You got tanks, you got rolling this. How did he do this? It's all in the scripting. How to make a great movie on a low budget. So that's on the 2nd of March, Saturday, in the morning and in the afternoon. He gives those 2 master classes.
Okay.
And on Sunday, his final master class, the 3rd one, it's called Scripting with Music.
Okay.
A possible pillar of the film structure. And he will take you through how music is used in some of the best movies in the world and how it works. You know, I saw this lecture myself. I attended it in Utrecht, in the Netherlands. I think he spoke nonstop for a good 3 or 4 hours, and I didn't miss 1 minute. I didn't get bored once. And they had to come and say, yeah, Mr. Hallen, we have to go now. Because it was time for question and answer, and people were getting excited, and the time was gone. So you won't even feel the time in Jan Hallen's classes, and you will learn a lot from one of the greats who worked with one of the greats in the world. So that's what Repilan is trying to do. We're trying to bring something amazing that will touch our people here and help them improve in what they do in the film business. So Jan Hallen Masterclass Series at Repilan 2019 on the 2nd. 2 of them, and on the 3rd, the last one, and then he flies out. And tickets are available now at Web Tickets, and they're selling quite quickly. If I were you, really, even if you are in the film business and you think you know, these classes are worth your while. You want to come and check it this out. I'm being serious. This is, I saw one of these classes. That's why I said, Mr. Jan, I walked up to him. I'll tell you a quick story. He gives Scripting with Music a possible pillar of the film structure. And he says, you know, I played this piece of music in, I think it was Belgium, he said, or Denmark. I can't remember, one of the 2 countries. I always confuse those 2. And he said, at the end of playing this piece, a young guy stood up and he said, who did that piece of music? Who wrote it, you know? And Jan Hallen said, I said to him, Bach. You know? And he said, how do you spell that? This young guy. And he said, B-A-C-H, you know. And the young guy looked at him and said, that's a cool piece of music. And he sat down. The idea that in Europe there could be a white kid who doesn't know Bach, classical music, Bach, like it's crazy, right? So when this thing ended, he finished his lecture, I jumped up on the podium, I went to him and I said, Mr. Hallen, and he looked up and I said, that was a cool lecture, you know. And he clicked immediately, like, cool piece of music, cool lecture. And then my next question was, would you like to come to South Africa? And he said, absolutely. Just contact me and let's talk. And when I said come, he said, listen, I'll be wasting your time if I do 1 lecture. I'll do 3. Just make sure you get me here and what have you. So come and see this thing. It's worth your while. Save up, drink less for the next few months. Go to Web Tickets, buy some tickets. If you're in the film business and you like film, go to Web Tickets, get yourself a ticket now. Really, it's an amazing thing. It's an incredible opportunity because we did not create the film business. Believe it or not, we didn't create soccer.
Yeah,
that's why the Premiership, the English who created soccer, have the biggest and the best league in the world.
Definitely.
So if you're gonna sit here arrogantly saying, I'm better at soccer, go, watch the people who created stuff, learn from them, then you can improve on it. You understand? Jan Hallen is coming here. He produced Stanley Kubrick. If you can afford this and you don't come, sorry for you. Then you are that African that's never gonna rise up. That's it. Yeah, for students, it's actually 75 Rand a class. So 75 Rand.
Wow.
65 for 3.
You know what I mean? And 165 if you buy all 3. 165, then you attend all 3.
Oh, wow.
It's nothing.
Yeah, that's not...
We set it up so that anybody can come to this. Okay,
exactly.
Maybe it might cost you 4 taxi rides, depending on where you're coming from.
Exactly.
So you add that, you had a bit of lunch in the middle of that. I mean, you're good to go for 150 a lecture. So 75 Rand per lecture or 165 for 3. Jan Hallen is coming here. If you are a student, film practitioners, you can see the prices on the adults and all that. Yeah.
So there's different tickets for the masterclass, and there's also tickets for the actual watching the films.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Please tell us
Yes.
about that, how much they are,
Yes,
since we're
yes.
about to wrap up. Yes.
Yeah, I think movies we're charging 45 rand if I'm not a movie to come and see. So it's way
Wow.
cheaper than that. You can also buy day ticket. So you come in, you buy a day pass, and you spend a day there watching all sorts of movies all day long. Or you can buy a
Wow.
week pass, take a week off. Come and sit at the market theater and watch movies all day, all week, all round. Go to all master classes. So if you get a day pass, you go to anything that's happening that day.
Yes.
You get a weekend pass, you go to everything that's happening that weekend. You get a week pass, you get to everything that's happening that whole week, including premieres, opening night, closing night, that sort of thing. So if you go to web tickets, you'll see exactly how those are structured, and you can get yourself tickets. And it's happening from the 1st to the 10th of March. So it's about a month, 2 weeks away from now.
All right. One thing I forgot to ask you is back to the students who are also filmmakers and whatnot. How do they send through their stuff if they want to be a part of this maybe next year?
Part of it in what way? Do you mean
Like
their
the
films,
films,
for example?
yes.
Yeah, you go to filmfreeway.co.za and you / Rapid Lion, RAPIDLION. Alternatively, go to our website, rapidlion.co.za. I always describe it as a fast animal in the bush, Rapid Lion, one word, .co.za. And you can see what we've been doing. You can see submissions where you click to submit. That's us, and that's Rapid Lion 2019. Yeah.
2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
I saw I think it was your first interview in regards to the Rapid Lion thing, and I think it was one morning live, and you mentioned that maybe one day you're hoping Trevor Noah will be hosting the awards for you.
Yeah.
Are you still on
Oh,
that thought?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best in the world. And if we can get Rapid Lion Award ceremony to be at that level,
Yes.
it would be amazing to have him.
Wow.
Kagiso did it the last time we had it, and he did an awesome job. So for now, we're very happy with Kagiso. No problem. We want him to do it again. But yeah, of course, that would be amazing. I mean, Trevor has done well, so it'll be good.
Yeah. And lastly, what's the end goal for you with regards to being the film the festival director for this?
Well, ideally, I would like to look back on this little planet 65 years down the line, and they say Rapid Lion is now 70 years old. That it lasted that long. For me, it's not about me or what I'm doing. I'm hoping it's Khan. Khan is now over 65 years old. Because the French understand that this is good for their film business. I'm hoping that we can build Rapid Lion while I'm alive to a point where it can stand and succeed and go forward. Am I hopeful that it will? I'm hopeful, but cautiously hopeful, because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Africans like new things a lot. It must be new. There's no... I mean, I'm still sad that Mandela's favorite restaurant in town was left to go. That would never happen in France.
Wow.
That would have had somebody invest in it and make sure it stays exactly as it was when he used to eat there. But we let it go. We don't know how to keep things for heritage purposes, to say this will last, this is ours. That's why, for instance, we're having an archive workshop, Rapid Lion 2019, and it's called The Future of Archiving and What It Means for Filmmakers Today.
Yes.
If I put you in a movie, Una,
Yes,
we have off-cuts. Where we talk to you about how it feels to be in this movie. And then we finish the movie, we cut the movie together, and we throw away all of that. One day you are 70 years old, you are a big star, somebody wants to do a little documentary on you and your career and radio and You get what? Somebody from England found that stuff and thought, wow, I don't know who this is, but they lived, they got recorded, let me keep it.
Yes.
At that moment, I have to go to England to buy that footage at an astronomical cost when I could have kept it. So the idea of keeping things, of looking after stuff, of having heritage issues is so important, So I'm hoping that somehow I'll be able to say, I'm leaving this thing, I'm 100 years old, it's in good hands.
Wow.
And it's going to carry on for the next 30 years and then carry on again beyond that.
Yeah.
And it's something that we created in this country, on this continent, that is now respected worldwide. That's where we hope to go with it. Yeah.
Hashtag Rapid Lion 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Eric Miyeni. Rapid Lion, the South African International Film Festival, from the 1st to the 10th of March, Market Theatre. Do get your tickets. I'll post everything on all social media platforms. My name is Unalina Barata Petekes. And I'll be back on Monday. Goodbye. Mona Lisa.